So you've spent 2 days making incredible croissants, you've baked them to perfection, and you've eaten as many as you can. But you're only a mere mortal. How can you be expected to eat all those croissants in one day? The next morning, those croissants we've worked so hard on, despite your best efforts, have gone hard and stale. It's all over. Well, that doesn't have to be the end of the story. Making almond croissants is a little trick that professional bakers have employed for decades to make use of all those croissants they didn't sell the previous day. Brushed with syrup, filled and topped with almond cream, and covered in flaked almonds, those sad stale croissants are transformed into something beautiful, and you can do the same thing at home. So if you are unfortunate enough to have your hard-earned croissants end up stale and tough just like these ones, fear not, as we're going to go through how to use them and make some incredible almond croissants. First thing we're going to need to do is, using a serrated knife, cut each of our croissants in half horizontally and place the cut croissants onto a baking sheet and open them out. Measure out 150 ml of almond liqueur and brush each of the cut sides of the croissants generously with the alcohol. I think it's traditional to brush them with sugar syrup, or a sugar syrup flavoured with a little bit of rum. This seems to differ depending on where you're doing your research, but I find the syrup a little bit too sweet, and I just feel like it's a bit too much work for not much return in flavour. So I use almond liqueur for a little bit of sweetness, but mainly for a real punch of almond flavour. But if you prefer alcohol free, go with the sugar syrup instead. Anyway, once generously brushed, put the croissants back together and we'll leave them to soak while we make the frangipan. For the frangipan, place 75 grams of butter and 75 grams of sugar into a bowl and cream together until light and fluffy. Then place 1 egg and 1 egg yolk into a separate bowl and beat together. Now we can start gradually adding our egg mixture to the cream, butter and sugar, adding a little bit of egg mix at a time and whisking really well between each addition. Try not to add too much egg at once or the butter mixture is likely to split. Now this isn't the end of the world, but it will make getting the rest of the egg into the mix a little bit more difficult. So little by little, add, mix, add, mix, add, mix, and continue until all the egg has been added and we have a smooth, fluffy mixture in the bowl. Then we're going to add 75 grams of ground almonds and 20 grams of flour. Use a rubber spatula to mix everything together thoroughly until we have a lovely, thick almond paste. If you have any almond liqueur left, you can add that to the frangipan for extra flavour and just give it another quick mix to bring everything together. Place the frangipan into a piping bag and pipe the almond cream into the centre of each of your croissants. Don't be afraid to be generous with the filling, go edge to edge on that croissant, then replace the top and sandwich these croissants together. Repeat the same process with the almond cream, but on top, piping the frangipan over the croissant to cover it. I find this little squiggly method works best, but if you don't have a piping bag, you can just spread the almond cream with a spoon. Then we're going to fill a small bowl with 100 grams of flaked almonds and flip these croissants over and press them top side down into the almonds. Then place the almond coated croissant back onto the baking sheet and continue this process until all the croissants are coated. And I know what you're thinking. Yes, you probably could just sprinkle the almonds on top and that would be fine. But then you wouldn't get the pleasure of the almond cream filling in all those little air pockets in your croissant as you pressed it down. It just feels more rewarding this way, and personally I think you get a better end product. Once they're all filled and coated, we put them into the oven at 180 degrees for about 15 to 20 minutes until the almonds are toasted and the almond cream is firm and golden brown. Once cooked, place onto a wire rack to cool slightly and then eat while they're still warm. Or not. I mean, you're an adult. I'm not going to tell you how to eat your almond croissant. So there you go, a little trick to give your old style croissants a new lease of life. Try it with different nuts as well if you want to play around with the flavours a little bit. Hazelnut, pistachio, pecan, all of these would be amazing substitutes for the almond. Thanks so much for watching the video. If you like this recipe, let me know by hitting the thumbs up down below. And if you're new here and you like what you see, why not consider subscribing as well? If you're interested in any of the equipment, you can head over to my Amazon store and check it out over there. As always, you can find the full list of ingredients in the description down below, and the full recipe is on my website, albrady.co.uk, and there's a whole bunch of other recipes over there that you should go and check out as well. And hit me up on Instagram or Facebook. I love to see what you guys are cooking. I will see you next time.